open discussion podcast. Topics include sensitive issues such as sex, religion, politics, race, gender, death, BDSM, MFN, CFNM, MMF, MMFM, and healthcare. Do not try this at home.
Get your motherfucking ass up when I'm talking.
So hold on tight. The action starts now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
And here we go.
I forgot what the fucking story was at this point. You got me thinking about white people projection.
Yeah, project.
No, so it's been a hard week for me. Ask me why.
Well, I was naturally going to assume it was a hard week, as every week, but why?
So my dumbass is the only person in the world that can actually find an oil field job with no hours.
Damn.
And it's happened to me multiple times. So, like, I packed up my stuff, right?
Yeah.
I went west center of the country when I was in San Diego, and I went out to the oil field because my toothless friend was like, oh, I make $10,000 a month. So I was like, yeah, let's do that. And I go out there, and the first job I got in the oil field wasn't paying overtime. They weren't doing any overtime. And then I get this one, and they give me Friday off. Right?
Yeah.
They're like, we ain't got nothing going on. You get Friday off.
Yeah.
Like, that's a good thing. Like, I'm a server. Like, I'm like, oh, I got Friday off.
Yeah.
I got written up twice this week. Written up. I'm a 38-year-old man.
Okay. Why'd you get written up?
The first time was because I was they said I was driving too fast.
Okay.
You keep hitting that.
We're pausing for
They
dramatics.
said I was driving too
go
fast.
ahead. All right, too fast. All right, yeah, we didn't see that one coming.
It's too fast. In a marked 25-mile-an-hour zone, I was driving 25.
Okay.
But it was perception that I was driving too fast.
Yeah, yeah. Perception's a motherfucker. Perception, dude, is life.
Perception that I was driving too fast. I was doing 25 and a 25.
Yeah.
And I even showed that because we have these fucking these systems in the truck. They're not ELD. They're onboard recording devices and shit. So they can tell when you brake too fast or your RPMs and stuff. So I looked at the time and I told them, and they went back in the cameras and it said, yes, you were doing actually like 24.6 miles an hour. But I lost the battle because they said it was still too fast for the condition. They said the conditions. Air quotes,
Okay.
the conditions.
The conditions.
The conditions.
Yeah.
So that was my first one. So that almost set me over the edge, but
Okay.
fear not. The universe is like, hold my beer.
Yeah.
The
Responsibility. you pay
second-
bills. Yeah, shit like that. Go ahead.
The second one, where I am has a ridiculous concept of like oil field, but we do have some oil, so we do oil field stuff. And I went out to this job site, and they were like, I had my extremely long and heavy FR gear on. And I go out there with my hard hat, my fucking steel toe boots, and the first thing I noticed when I got out there that pissed me off is I get out there and these guys are setting up on the rig.
Yep.
And the first thing I see is this big fat motherfucker in a tank top with a full beard.
Damn.
None of it. I guarantee his jeans were not FR. He's got a fucking tank top on, and he's got a full beard. And, for those that don't know, oil field, they tell you got to shave your face because in case you have to put a fucking SCBA on or whatever. And so, I noticed this. But then, at the end of the day, I go back to the office. I go to check what I'm doing the next day. And I get slid across a piece of paper that says, here's your write-up. Okay, I'll bite. What's the write-up for? The sunglasses I had on were not the correct kind of glasses you had to wear out there.
The Z87s.
Something like they weren't the oil field Oakleys, right?
Yeah, okay.
Meanwhile, I'm on a job site with the fucking guys on a rig, that are so anti OSHA regulation that it's like it's the juxtaposition was fucking insane to me.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah, it's politics.
So that
they
mixed
don't,
with
they don't like you. They don't like you. Bottom line, they don't like you.
Well, that's fine. Just the fact that mixed of like perception of 25 and a 25.
Yeah.
And I was standing next to guys that were so far out of oil field regulation that they might as well be like the training video.
You realize
that it was
at
just
some
like
point it's important
you gotta
for,
be fucking kidding
for
me.
coworkers to like you, right? I mean, you cannot go in
I
there
didn't.
and you can't approach your workstation and be like, I hate all of you. You're all dumbasses. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. You're fucking useless. The only thing you're doing is expelling carbon fucking dioxide from your chest and contributing to global warming. You need to die. You can't approach work like that.
I don't. I'm
think
extremely nice and amicable to anybody. The 25 and a 25 was
how many cigarettes they smoke and how they're fucking useless, and it's no wonder why their wife's fucking a dog. And
Oh yeah, but not to them.
Yeah.
No. I smile and I conversate.
So at what point do you put on your work clothes and look in the mirror and realize that you are participating in everything that you fucking despise?
Yeah, I'm a stripper mentality. I don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
I 4 years ago when I decided that I needed to get a skill because I kept starting over.
Yeah.
I'm like, I need to at least have a skill to expound upon, to be like, okay, well, if I don't have this job, at least I have the experience from it. And
Well,
so
they said,
I made the mistake.
Go ahead.
Well, I made the mistake of looking at the numbers,
Yeah.
which is, I think, the biggest problem in the world today.
Yeah.
I looked at the numbers, and the numbers told me that being a truck driver was like a 90% higher rate, which should have been a red flag. But to me, being the dumbass white boy I am,
no, to me that says turnover.
and it was like, oh, well, okay, I can get hired easy.
Yeah, and then the other
then-
idea that where there's chaos, there's money to be made. But can you handle the chaos?
Well, my other mistake, and it's been my mistake for the longest time, is chasing the money. It's been 100% what my problem is with everything.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that, man. I know a lot of people that chase the money and they acquire the money. I think that the problem is that a lot of us want to chase the money on our terms and not the world's terms. The world does not fucking bend to our will. I mean, we can bend and manipulate a lot of things, but the world and other people's money is not one of those things. So unless, it's just like I was talking earlier that, my position, I've gained stability in my situation. However, my situation is not really attainment of my ultimate goals because my situation keeps me alive day to day. It's even though I'm fortunate in what I do and where I'm at, it's not a 5, 10, 15, 20 year I need to buy my Lipitor goal. You know what I mean? It's like a today goal. Like I can live to fight another day. But I'm comfortable. I'm at home most nights. Whereas if I really wanted to chase the money and get the money, you know what I mean, I'd be sleeping in a different state randomly. You know what I mean? The phone would ring. I would go here. I would go there, and the nest egg would actually build instead of deplete. So a lot of times, like I feel like I'm chasing the money, but I'm really not chasing the money because I'm doing shit on my terms, and my terms are not always optimized to the goal of chasing the money. You see what I'm saying? So it's like it's another form of self-sabotage. Again, the perception issue.
Well, for me, it's chasing the wrong kind of money. I can do it. I can work long hours. I can get dirty. I can put on gloves. It sucks my soul.
Well, no,
and instead of it, but I ask the wrong questions.
You're like me. You're like me and a lot of other people. We want to be home at night. We want to sleep in our same bed. We want to do this. We want to do that, and therefore, that limits the opportunity. And if you don't have the money working for you, you're still working for your fucking money. Then you're still a fucking slave. And until you get the point where your money can become your slave, you're a slave to the money.
Well,
sorry,
to be
sorry
fair,
about the interruption there. We had a news posting coming in. Whatever my assistant was showing me.
To be fair, one of the highest paid guys there still lives with his dad.
Yeah, no, he's fucking wieners. I mean, but that's smart money. I mean, if you can have somebody else pay the mortgage, then why pay your own? You know what I mean? That way you can bank it, and then you can do cash deals, because you can get $100,000 house for $70,000 if you got cash. You know what I'm saying? Because when you drop 70 stacks in front of a nigga's face that's never seen 70 stacks, and the fact that he probably paid on that mortgage for 30 years and then, or 29 years and then refinanced for another 15, you know what I mean? He's never seen 70,000 cash. Most people's never seen more than their tax income in cash, and most of them don't even see that because it comes on a prepaid card in the fucking mail.
There's got to be a better option. There's got to be a better way.
Nigga,
because I can't.
Go to any hood in America, nigga. Okay, go to any hood in America. Put your hands on the sack, nigga. Learn how to cook. And open up a fucking trap house, nigga. There's no permits, no regulation, you know what I mean? And the clientele's there.
Well, no, what I'm saying is there's got to be a better way, because that's not always the guy sitting there, you know, what you were just talking about, fucking sitting there banking, putting cash away. There's people who go to work for 4 hours a day and make exponentially more money than you and I ever will. And then there's guys that go to work. Then there's guys that go to work and they're on site for 36 hours and they make exponentially more money than you and I will. And then there's rappers that go out and they're rubbing their hands together. They're saying getting the money, and then they're selling 100,000 records at a time and they're getting the money. Yeah. There's tons of ways to make tons of money.
You want me to tell you where you fuck up?
I just know the way I'm doing it is the way I'm.
They fall in love, nigga. Yeah, they fall in love with the pussy. Nigga, okay, so you woke up one day, or maybe it's asshole. I don't know what it is, right? Each to their own, because I'm talking to a wide audience here, okay? Whatever it is you fell in love with. But your life had a certain track, and you was on that track, and then, boom, you got a taste of ass. And then all your priorities changed. And when your priorities changed, then all of a sudden, next thing you know, you wake up, and you have a family, you have kids, or you got some responsibilities, or, you know, you got arrested, now you owe the state. Whatever it is, nigga, obligations, right? So obligations, we become a slave to our obligations instead of controlling them shits and cutting your losses and getting on. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, am I happy here? Do I like this? Am I cool with this? No, we become what's known as productive members of society, right? When what that really means, nigga, is you're just a cog in a fucking machine. Instead of building the machine, instead of owning the machine, instead of controlling the machine, it all controls you. And then that's why you have all these people, man, with all this motherfucking shit. I mean, we've touched on it 1,000 times before. The instant gratification model, you know what I mean? These niggas go to Walmart and they buy shit. They go online, they buy shit, and they put it in rubber totes, and then they put the totes in the room and then in the closet, and then when they don't have no more room, they buy sheds, and when they don't have no more room, they rent storage units. And so these niggas spend their entire life buying shit that they don't use, they don't even know that they fucking own, and they hoard it in nice little fucking awesome boxes, and they've got in all these little buildings and shit. In the meantime, these niggas have amassed so much fucking debt that they're dying of fucking heart attacks at 42. They're you know, these niggas are living in the bar. The homes are broken. They're fucking miserable. They eat bullets, whatever it is. I mean, it's like, you know, get the fuck on. Or these niggas get like 62 years old and their house gets repossessed. How the fuck you get your house repossessed at 60 years old? You know what I'm saying? Get fucking real, nigga.
What I was trying to say when I was talking about chasing the money.
Tell me what you was trying to say, because I like to say it rather than try to say it.
Money comes, money goes. Pussy comes, pussy goes. Water comes, water goes. You'll always be it. You'll always be there. Yeah. My thing is the way to get that money. So, for example, I'm sitting here in a fucking panic about going to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
A panic. Like, because it's ruining my whole day. I wake up on a Sunday. I already slanged some weed today. I just got a text about some guy that he's like, I'll be in town in a little bit, so I got to go back into town and bring it to him. But it's ruining my day that I'm going to have to wake up tomorrow, strap on my work boots, go to this place. You know what I mean? And I guess what I'm wondering is, like, how do these people? Because it can't. Well, hold on. Hold on. It can't just be the money, because I refuse to think that these oil field guys are about the money. Okay. Because a lot of them are 65, and they're 65 still working because they don't have money. So it can't be about the money.
Yeah.
How do they numb themselves? How do they numb themselves to get through a day of such banal, soul-sucking, pointless, non-productive work that doesn't really mean anything.
Okay, I think.
But it could be anything, not just oil field. How do Walmart people get through their day? How do painters get through their day? How do
you get up and you go every day? I mean, that's what you're doing, right? You dread it, you hate it, you don't want to do it, but you put your boots on and you go anyway. But quick question: quit. Why don't you just quit?
I would.
I'm saying,
but,
take your check and buy your pound, nigga, and ounce it out.
I already bought a half pound.
That's what I'm saying. Ounce it out, and you're not going to convince me that if you do a pound a week, ounce it out, you can't make what a nigga making a regular check.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not certain. It's not guaranteed on Friday that you have X number of dollars. But if you look at it in terms of a month, because some Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays are going to be busier than others. But if you can get your mind around that and handle the uncertainty that it falls on you to provide, and you alone and your decisions and your networking capabilities, then but you got to be able to handle that caseload, because a lot of people can't handle that caseload, and that's why they need to know on Friday that a check is coming that someone else is writing, because it takes the uncertainty and the decision-making process out for them. Someone else is making the decision, and that gives them a warm and fuzzy feeling of stability and awesomeness, and they're part of something bigger than themselves instead of creating their own fucking world. Again, it goes back to the concept of perception. And that's how they cope with it, is someone else is responsible for making the decisions that they're unable to make. And then that's how they put their boots on every Monday and Tuesday and Thursday and so forth for the next 30 years. Because someone else is capable of making those decisions that they're unwilling to make, I think is what it boils down to.
And a lot of us are in that situation.
Yeah, a lot of us, like 99% of the world, but that's the way the market's set up. And that's how you have, a trickle-up effect, right, as you stand on the shoulders of many. And if you take $1 from each one of those individuals, then you have many dollars, you know what I mean? And if you have pennies going out, well, then, your money outpaces your work.
But beyond that, that's what's killing me. That's what's making me insane. Money's money. Like I said, it'll come and go. And my issue isn't really money. It's more of just like what I'm doing with my day.
Yeah.
Where I'm going with it.
Yeah.
Currently I'm kind of in a small town here. There's not a lot. I do the best I can. The one guy, he just hit me up. I'm a little upset at that. I told him to meet me in town, but he decided he had other things to do. I need something more fulfilling, and I'm not finding that fulfillment.
Yeah, I don't know. I read a thing a while back. I don't remember where it was, or I watched a video or something. Nigga was like, use debt to get rich, basically. So, I mean, if you don't have, a nest egg, you don't have, a trust fund, you don't have a life insurance policy from an uncle or a grandmother or something like that to get you, your seed money to bankroll. Niggas like, take as much debt as you can and then fuck the bill, you know what I'm saying? Now, pay it back if you accomplish. But if you don't, then what's the big fucking deal? Because, I mean, it's the same thing that banks and big business and your brave leader of the free world, Donald Trump, has done. He takes money on consignment, and he tries to make some moves with it. And if they work out, cool. But if they don't, fuck them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and into a paycheck living guy. I mean, that might sound crazy, but I mean, people do it for 4-wheelers, trucks, campers, vacations, all this stuff anyway. So why not take that money instead of doing all that shit? Use it to bankroll a motherfucking opportunity. I mean, if I was able to go get $100,000 cash from the motherfucking bank right now, nigga, it wouldn't be no questions. You know what I'm saying? I'd go buy a $15,000 house, secure the family, and then I'd take the other 85, nigga, and bust a move. You know what I'm saying? But that's just me.
Yeah, but there's got to be fulfillment in there.
Yeah, fulfillment. Whatever fucking, that gets your fucking juices flowing, nigga. Like, whatever it is that you feel like gives you a sense of satisfaction. And, I think for me, it's networking, it's interaction, it's putting little small deals together, stuff like when we did the trees, when I closed people for daddy, with the seafood and stuff like that. It was the close of the deal that gave me satisfaction. Like, what I'm saying? I went in there and made that shit happen. But I mean, I have satisfaction in my job now. The shit that we do, like we're doing shit that nobody else wants to do. We own some treacherous fucking terrain, nigga. You know what I'm saying? We're running cables. You know what I'm saying? We're fighting the odds, nature. You know, all this fucking iron, pipe slinging, fucking rocks, fucking unstable ground, and we're pulling it off. You know, so you know that's a different type of satisfaction. But you know, I'd like to put together some money deals, man. Like, you know, I like the idea of money working, you know, versus me working. I mean, naturally you have to work for the money to work, but there's got to be a point when the scales tip, and you have to have your money outrun your liabilities. And in the blue collar setup, very rarely will your money ever outrun your liabilities. And that's because we're consumers. We consume everything. We pay for everything. We do nothing for ourselves.
But I'm talking outside of that, because you keep coming back to money. You keep coming back to talking about money. I'm talking, there's got to be fulfillment outside of having to worry about that. Instead of waking up every morning in a panic, like Snoop Dogg, your mind on your money on your mind.
Yeah.
I'm talking like waking the fuck up and happy to see that sun come up and happy to smell that air.
You mean like either a super wealthy person, which comes back to money, or you live in a fucking tribe in the fucking Amazon? I mean, that's the only two ways that's going to happen. You know what I mean? Your shit's got to be paid for. Your existence has to be paid for. Like, you have to own your dirt. You have to own your house, your tent, your fucking teepee, whatever it is you fucking live in. And you have two choices. You can either become wealthy, you can settle, you know, for the $10,000 condemned house and remodel it room by room, and it's paid for. Or you can go to
I hear a
the
lot of
Amazon-
you in that story.
You can go to the Amazon jungle, nigga, and build you a fucking stick hut, nigga, and be cool in a wife beater, some khaki shorts, nigga, and a fish spear.
You ever seen that video of that guy that fucking built a sweat hut out of nothing? Just walks to an area in the woods, starts making clay
You talking
bricks.
about the nigga that dug that
fucking
bitch out
pulls
with the
some tree
stick and
branches off.
shit?
Yeah.
I seen that shit.
That dude's happy. That dude had
Yeah,
nothing.
he's happy. Yeah, he's happy. You know what I'm saying? And he probably get the pussy every night.
He probably does. He probably has multiple women. It's probably like a polygamous community within his tribe.
And they're happy.
Because that nigga provides. He put in my house near the banana tree. The bitches ain't got to go far. There's a creek out back. And, you know, every 2 or 3 months, he trades the neighboring tribe for a fucking pig.
I think that's what I'm going to end up doing.
You need to do it, man. You know, when I was in North Dakota, I used to talk a lot about it. Everybody thought I was crazy. I'm like, man, on payday, like, you know, because you know, obviously I'm constantly figuring the money, but I'm like, man, I got enough. I could just drive to Mexico. Right now. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in the truck on the way to the store to get some cigarettes. You know what I mean? But I could just pass by the store, nigga, get a tank of gas, and drive straight to Mexico. You know what I mean? And what's the worst case scenario? I mean, what? I live in the same destitute poverty that I've been in the majority of my life, or maybe I meet a fucking, you know, a high-ranking member of the cartel, and they move me up because of my awesome fucking attitude.
I don't think you want to be in the cartel.
I think I'm brown enough to do it.
From what I heard, it's hard to get out of that. Like, you do a couple years, you're like, the 401k kind of sucks. I don't want to be a part of this. You go in, you put in your 2 weeks.
I don't know. You really got to do that, nigga. You just, you know, you probably just shoot everybody around you, nigga, and it'll be like, I'm the boss now, nigga.
That's what I was when I was out in North Dakota at that same site. That's why I asked the Mexican dudes. I was like, why don't you just fucking work in the cartel? Why you come all the way up to North Dakota where it's all shitty, and you're just giving your life away? Like, at some point, wouldn't it just make more sense to just like bust some dude's head or fucking kidnap their kids or something for a couple grand a week? And they didn't answer me because they didn't
Have
speak
you ever
English.
thought about maybe they were in the fucking cartel and they were actually
That big
fucking
one? Remember that big one?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think because the other ones were fucking terrified of him.
I'm thinking, you know,
And I think
what I'm saying is they're a distribution cell, you know, but in order to be a distribution cell, you have to be somewhere and set up and have a normal appearance, you know what I mean? And it's always the ones that are least expecting. The nigga driving the ship with the busted taillight and the poverty and the 25 fucking kids. But there's always a head Mexican. If you've ever worked around Mexicans, you always know that there's always a head Mexican. And, you know, some of the shit isn't as easily explained as it might appear.
that's why I laugh when people say that like legal weed's gonna stop the cartel. It's like, do you know how much cartel money is probably invested in illegal weed across the United States?
Yeah, but that's not what people don't give a fuck about the cartel, man. The government's been doing business with them motherfuckers since the heroin fucking in the Vietnam War. You know what I'm saying? Now the cartel may have changed, places and people and players and shit, but the idea and the concept has not disappeared. It's been the same thing. The government does business. We have a pay to play.
Well, yeah. Have you ever seen
legal system.
what's that guy's name? Gary? What's that guy's name? Gary fucking Gary something, the journalist.
You talking about the
that
nigga from
found out the
California
connection
that
between
found
the
out with the Contras?
Yeah.
Yeah. I told everybody that.
Then he
bad.
And it's the same thing as all these people end up like they always end up, they're like, oh, they committed suicide. They committed suicide. You ever seen that fucking movie Shooter? And they had that fucking with Mark Wahlberg, and they had that contraption that fucking they put on that guy's arm and around his neck, and they pull that trigger, and it fucking makes him hold the gun to his head at the angle in which you'd shoot yourself.
Yeah.
And they're like, who the fuck would come up with this kind of thing?
Our government, man. People need to believe in our government. Our government's evil. Our government is people. It is us. It's a reflection of the best and worst of us, all right? The best in ideas and the worst in actions. And, they deal in drugs, man. There's too much money around drugs. It's untraceable. It's fucking, it creates tons of fucking employment from police to hospitals, medical staff, judges, lawyers, fucking, social workers, food stamps offices, schools, everything. Everybody is in the fucking drug business, and the sooner we get our fucking heads around it, then the quicker we can move on.
Well, that's why one of the big reasons it's going to be a hard push to make it federally decriminalized, because there's so many institutions that are balls deep in having to involve with that. We're talking like when you're talking drug testing labs.
Yeah.
That I worked in one of the biggest. It was pain and addiction clinics, but they made a lot of money off THC testing.
Yeah.
What are you going to do when you take that away? You're going to just test for meth?
Yeah, I don't know. Humans are naturally consumers of psychotropics and intoxicants in any and every fucking form. Historically, since the beginning of time, to the best that I'm educated in it, we have constantly consumed something to alter our perception of the reality that we live in, for whatever reason. And it's increased exponentially several times over in recent times. And I don't think it's necessarily technology or the discovery of chemical substance or any of that. I think it's the stress of the lifestyle that we're leading now, of consumerism and the cost to keep up with the Joneses and the pressures for light bills and so forth for the modern conveniences we have. If you look at alcoholism,
is your light bill expensive?
Yeah, light bills are huge, dude. Like if you look at a lot of old people in certain parts of the country, and especially up north, a lot of these people who worked their whole life for whatever reason, choices made, situations dictated by what they were taught. They have liens on their fucking houses from the power companies to because the heating cost and utilities, gas and so forth like that, and electric, because they were unable to fucking pay their bills, but they didn't cut the lights off. They kept it running, and instead of creating a system where they could work themselves out of it, they put liens on people's houses so when they die, the power company can auction the fucking house off to recoup their profits.
Jesus Christ, how much is your light bill?
Well, mine's like $400 a month.
Whoa! What the fuck is yours $400 a month for?
Because I'm running a fucking outdated air conditioner.
Oh, yeah, we don't have an air conditioner.
No, I'm not going to come home.
Actually, we got a bill the other day because ours is all fucked up. They put 2 meters in here, and then they're like, we fucked up. Now you owe.
Yeah, I don't know. It is what it is, but I'm not going to work all day and then come home to a house that's almost comfortable, nigga. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to run it at 72 when I can run it at 67 or 68. You know what I mean? It's not going to fucking happen. So I can save $75 and almost be comfortable in my own home. Get the fuck real. I don't care if it's 1 month a year. I don't care if it's 2 weeks a year that it gets hot. I don't give a fuck if it's Antarctica and I only need it for 1 day. I'm going to have goddamn air conditioning.
That air conditioning could be nice.
Yeah, there ain't no fucking way that I'm gonna work all goddamn week and not be able to motherfucking cool and heat my house.
Central air is even nicer, but that's white people shit.
Yeah, well, that's what we have, and this fucking unit that we have outside is fucking outdated because obviously we're in a rental.
But again, cost of doing fucking business. You know what I mean? It was small because I think this was like their vacation weekend home, and they cut some corners, and they're like, it's up north, so it shouldn't need that much air conditioning. I don't give a fuck. We're under a heat wave. You know what I mean? We're global warming, nigga. Is the whole Earth's getting hot, nigga, and a couple degrees difference makes a huge difference in electric bills when the insulation value from 99 is different than you need in 2019. As technology improves and as the earth heats, nigga, you need more insulation to conserve on your fucking utility bills.
There's a little space on our Lazy Susan that I think when they added the addition onto it, they didn't insulate it very well. So where you're in the winter, you can literally feel cold air blowing through that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Just all that heat falling right out of it. It's fucking insanity.
Yeah. I think it was meant to encourage you to get in that pussy.
It was. It's like, you know what? Go upstairs and fuck someone.
Yeah, that's why it's called a Lazy Susan. You know what I mean?
I thought it was called that so I can reach the fucking Tupperware with no lid in the back.
No, I think it was a cabinet big enough that you could stuff your fucking bitch in there when she wasn't fucking acting right.
When you have to accidentally kill your wife, put her somewhere for a little bit.
Damn.
Hey, speaking of accidentally kill your wife, did you hear about that fucking that guy at the grocery store that fell behind that fucking shelf?
No.
And they found him 10 years later?
No.
You didn't hear about that?
No, tell me.
Holy
about
shit. Some fucking dude was missing. And they wrote him off. They're like, "Hey, he's gone."
it.
He fell behind like a cooler or a shelf or whatever. And the store was open for a couple years, so his body was behind this fucking shelf. And then when they went to demo it years after that, they found his fucking body. And they're like, "Oh, yeah, it's that motherfucker we said was gone."
That's crazy as fuck.
So people were shopping while this chubby Mexican, like 20-year-old, was fucking all jacked up behind the fucking cooler. Behind probably like where they had dairy and stuff like that. And they're like, "Man, the dairy around here is just outdated."
Yeah, that's
10
crazy as
years.
fuck. I wonder what the nigga was doing in a position where he could have fell like that.
They fucking said for some reason that like employees would lay on top of that. I have no idea
That's crazy.
how the fuck you would even fall behind a shelf.
That's like when I was out west, man, in North Dakota. It's very, very expansive fucking amounts of vacant property. Like there's no one there. They would try to send me out to these places to do these jobs by myself, and there's no way in fucking God's green earth that I would go out there by myself. Because I mean, if a nigga had a stroke, if there was a landslide, if I fucking flipped my truck, rolled my equipment, fucking broke my leg, passed out from gases, whatever the fucking case was, like there was no way in hell that I was going out there by myself. You know what I'm saying? These niggas used to try and get hot with me about it. You know what I'm saying? And I'd be like, "Nigga, drive yourself out there." You know what I'm saying? You suck a dick, nigga. I ain't going. You know what I'm saying? Send me a motherfucking helper. I ain't doing it. You know what I mean?
I quit a job because they wanted me to fucking get into a tube forming thing.
Yeah.
They wanted me to crawl in the back to pull pieces out. I'm like, "I'm not getting in there." Then they tried to reassure me, "Oh, there's blocks that'll stop it in case it closes." I'm like, "I don't give a fuck if God himself came down, put his elbow under there and winked at me. I'm not going to fucking crawl. I'm not putting half my body in there." You know how you don't get killed by one of those things? By not putting half your body in a fucking tube press.
You know, I've analyzed the last 33 minutes of this episode, and I realized that all the capable individuals, we do not sound in any way, shape, form like ideal employees.
No, I'm terrible at it. 52 fucking jobs.
Yeah, suck a dick.
And all it's taught me
Yeah,
is what I
up.
don't want to do. What
And
I
all
don't
you
want
had
to do.
All you had to do was come up with an awesome bumper sticker and be rich.
There's a motherfucker in San Diego. He lives in Pacific Beach. They call him the PB Millionaire. And he's like weird looking, you know, because he's like in his 50s, but he got like plastic surgery, so he looks like a Ken doll.
Damn.
This dude got rich by creating clear, like a roller. It's not even a roller. It's like these goggles for painters that have layers of that clear plastic shit. So when it gets fucking covered with spray, like the overspray, you
just
peel
pull
it away.
Yeah.
Millionaire.
Yeah.
Plastic
Makes
surgery.
Makes sense. That nigga
See you need, fill a need, like that fucking movie Robots.
Yeah.
My whole problem is I've been so goddamn entrenched in what I don't want to do that I'm stuck doing shit I don't want to do.
No,
It's almost like the more you fight against it, the universe is like, oh, yeah, put your boots on.
The problem is it's hard to do anything else when you have to get up and be at work at 7 o'clock in the fucking morning to keep yourself alive another day. It's hard to create opportunity. It's just like day trading and shit, right? So I've been researching, trying to learn about day trading. You've got to be in a position where you can be online to do day trading. And then the government limits you. You can only do like 3 day trades a week, or they classify you as another bracket. If you do the 4th one, they lock you out for 5 business days. You can get fined and shit like that if you have under $25,000. So it's like the game is rigged against you out the gate. But then how do you go to fucking work and be there when the market opens and catch the morning swing and the afternoon swing? You can't do it. You know, everybody doesn't work in the office. Motherfuckers don't have lunch breaks. You know, half the time you're in a place that doesn't have a fucking phone signal. You know, so even if you had the app on your phone, you know, you can't just stop work for 2 hours while you're trading some fucking penny stocks. You know what I mean? You just can't fucking do it. So or if you want to sell bumper stickers or whatever the fuck it is, you know, if you're punching a time clock and you're working 6 days a fucking week, you know, it limits your opportunity. And it's almost like the thing that should be benefiting you is also stopping you from changing your stars in society. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just take another route because you have to be here. You have to fucking feed the kids. You have to pay a car payment. You know what I mean? Whatever. Now, you can gamble. Sometimes there's some room in between. But if you don't have any kind of a nest egg, any kind of savings put up to hold yourself over for 90 days, 6 months, you know, a year, whatever, you've got to be there in the morning to punch that fucking time clock. So where does the opportunity really create itself? Unless you can get somebody to give you some seed money, you know, and then again, it's borrowing capital. You know what I mean? It's networking. Really, it's the same thing with the industry I'm in, and I think it goes with banking, business, fucking everything that Donald Trump's accomplished. You know, people of that nature. It's networking. Sometimes it's a great fucking idea, but most of the time it boils back down to fucking absolutely 100% who you know, not what you know. Because if your homeboy hit a lick and he's in a situation where he's profiting, he's gonna bring you in. If you hit a lick and there's somebody you know and you want, they're in your circle and you want them the profit, you bring them in. So it's not even that any individual knows any certain thing. It's just, you know, your network social, man, is who you know. I mean, it's what they know. It's what the people that they know.
Well, I'm done trusting people like that, by the way.
It's not about not trusting people, Sean. I think it's about educating yourself in the situation and understanding how you can benefit from a situation and how far this person's willing to go with you. How far can they go with you? You know what I mean? Have they put the knowledge on you? Have they given you contacts? Is there opportunity that exists in that situation different than what you came into it looking for? You know what I mean? So there's always an upside, man. You know what I mean? That's like before I knew about pipelining, right? You know, there's a lot of people. I know a lot of equipment operators, and they're in Florida making $12 an hour, and they've been doing this shit 30 fucking years. You know what I mean? I'm in the oil patch, and I'm not making nowhere near a similar fucking wage. And it's simply because of the people that I knew. They turned me on to something that helped me profit for the situation that I'm in. They say a person's net worth is you know, the collective of the 6 people they interact with the most, right? Well, if you interact with millionaires, the odds is soon enough your net worth will be the same as theirs. Or if you fuck with nothing but poor people that hang out in the bar, the odds is your net worth will be, you know, what the poor people's is. You know what I mean? It's just social setting is what it really amounts to.
And by the way, I don't have the benefit. I wish I could punch a clock. I unfortunately don't have that benefit because I do the thing where you write your time on a ticket that they charge a company, right? But it's never, and then you got to face that that situation where it's like you come in at 6, but then they're like, yeah, but you can't write down until 6:30 because we're not going to charge them for. It's like, motherfucker, I came here at 6. I walked in at 6. The second I stepped the fuck out of my truck at 6.
Yeah, no. If your company tells you to be there, then they got to pay you for that. If it's an on-call position, then you're not there. You're not getting paid for that unless you've negotiated something. But Yeah.
I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, you need to get out of there, man. I heard there's some cheap houses down around Detroit.
Yeah, for $2,000. There's a trap house, liquor store, gun store, trap house, liquor store, gun store, cheap house.
I'm just saying. I mean, so for $2,000, you got commercial real estate. Is that what you're telling me?
The money guy has 3 houses. Yeah, so he's like, you can come down here, live next to me.
I'm just saying, sometimes, man, you got to be willing to. If you want the things that no one else has, you got to be willing to do what no one else will.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm not putting my family in that position.
Exactly.
I can
So-
do like you want to do and like send them away, but I'm not going to. I will not bring my kids to an unsafe neighborhood just to be like, Daddy's gonna make it one day.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? To me, like my sister-in-law, they're in a community, and there's a house down the road from them that's really cheap. You know, it's got some roof issues, and it needs a couple windows and shit like that. I mean, nothing. Most of it, for the most part, the bones are there. Some cosmetic issues, but most people would steer away from that because they're overwhelmed by the idea of being responsible to make change. Most people can't handle the change. But the environment and the situation and the community is good. We know people there, so you know that creates a buffer for me of comfort. So that would enable me to make the moves that I want to make. But because I have a family, that is a priority. The family has to be stable, and anything that I do cannot jeopardize their stability. So I think that the main fact of motivation for me to accomplish, which is myself and my family is also what derails me from being able to achieve the opportunities that have presented themselves in recent times to me, because
100% right there.
I cannot
That's
make the
exactly what
moves
it
that
is.
I need to, because it may create instability for them. You know what I'm saying? And the instability is the picture is bigger than myself. So it's, you know, in this day and age and the cost of living and stuff, you have to figure out as a whole, when it involves people more than just yourself, how to come together on a common goal to achieve what needs to be done. You know what I mean? And if you can't come to a common goal, you've either got to accept the reality of the situation that you're in, or you got to be willing to cut your losses. One of the two.
Yeah, that's what I've been thinking about, because what I learned a long time ago is you got to know when to cut your losses, so you're not dragging through the same thing. And that's why I made so many changes. I mean, some of it's probably bad decision, but you know, at 52 jobs, I clearly have cut my losses several places.
Yeah.
But I think this recent one, you know, I'm still kind of floating with the contacts I have. Like I said, I was doing shit today. I got up early on the Lord's Day when I'm not even supposed to be working, and I was doing stuff.
Yeah.
I think I might have to get out of this area.
Yeah.
Simply, like, I love my home.
blame you.
That's my biggest issue, is I love my home. I love this place because for so long, you know, we lived in apartments above, around, on the
Yeah.
side, below people.
Yeah.
And now it's quiet. I don't hear anybody. I don't have to fucking deal with parking.
So the area is
And
not
it depresses
really
me.
the issue. It's the opportunities that you need to chase, and this is something that I've encountered myself. Right. So when I first went to North Dakota, man, I prospered like I've never prospered before. But my wife and I was you know, it was new to us, and she wasn't ready to leave our home in Florida, and so I would drag up because I would find myself getting emotionally distanced, and to me the money was not worth the risk of my marriage, right? So I would drag up, I would go home, we would blow through our savings, I would leave. So it became this vicious, repetitive cycle, right? So I never actually achieved, because every time I was so close to achieving, I would quit and go home in the name of my marriage. So there in itself, in the idea of stability, it created self-perpetuating instability. Then she got on board and she was ready and cool. I'm like, you know, this is where the money's at, this is where we need to be. But by then I was so burnt out because I had been coming and going and I ran through so many jobs. It had lost its edge for me. So we moved over here to this part of the country. She, you know, we had a little bit of a network. Her family is out this side of the country. And, you know, an opportunity presented itself for me to do this. However, now I'm looking at the next 5 years and what I want to achieve. the area, is quiet, it's copacetic, but because of the amount of oil and gas play out here, the real estate values have shot up through the fucking roof without explanation, simply because of the name of profits, which I get it. If I had property, I want to get the most out of it as well. But they're unrealistic, and when the slowdown comes, they're going to plummet, and any equity you thought you had will be lost, and then you'll just be upside down on a fucking mortgage because employment might not even be here. So I'm cool with like the family being somewhere, but we've definitely got to be on the same page. Like if my wife had an income that could sustain the bills, that would free me up to go do the things that I need to do. But I need to be able to make moves. I need to be able to be here today. I need to be able to be there tomorrow and somewhere else potentially on Thursday. And and it might be this week. It might be over 6 months. It might just be a day trip. But I cannot be here and be there at the same. There's no way a human can be in two places at the same time. So in order to free myself up, the rest of the team has definitely got to get on board, and whether that means me buying this fucking this trap house and remodeling it and putting them there, or my wife, us moving to an area where my wife can find gainful employment, because she's not going to work up here for $9 a fucking hour. That's not going to maintain the bills. That's not going to perpetuate self-worth. Nothing. That's just another form of fucking slavery, and that's not going to free me up to do the things that I need to do. So we got a couple options on the table, and we're trying to weed through this, what is best for the stability of our house. But most people are not willing to make the changes that are fucking needed. You know what I'm saying? They're not willing to fucking go to the lengths to achieve the shit that they want, and it's always going to be someone else's fault. And instead of looking in the mirror and realizing that they have the ability, the individual has the ability to change their circumstances, they're the ones getting up every day and making decisions what they want to do with their life. Now, it's an honorable thing to make decisions based on your family, but are you going to live the next 50 years in fucking misery and look up and say, man, I did some awesome things for my family who fucking hates me and my wife died of cancer, but I fucking stood by them, and the little shits are fucking waiting for you to die to take the last $50 out your Social Security checking account. You know what I mean? Or
see, that's what I'm talking about, because that because I made the mistake of getting I can't say mistake, but it's just not getting me anywhere. Of getting a CDL is like, the biggest option for having a CDL is going over the road. I will not go over the road. I will not. Yeah. Because there's no paycheck that will replace the time, and at the same time, kids ain't gonna grow up and go, yeah, well, Dad wasn't there, but at least the bills were paid. Nobody gives a shit about that. I've learned the quickest and fastest way to misery is just to fucking think that you're providing. What you got to do, and what I'm finding, is that you got to give people a reason to exist. They have to have a reason to get up in the morning. They have to have a reason to go on their day. And at the end of the day, they got to know that they've made their way towards that, to lay their head down on the pillow and feel a little bit better. That's my biggest issue right now, is I feel like I'm doing nothing good for anyone, anywhere, at any time.
Well,
besides getting people weed. And that's it.
Time clock for 6 days a fucking week, 5 days, whatever, 4 days. You've got to reach a tipping point. If you want any kind of freedom, if you want to instill anything in your children, if you really want to give them opportunity, and to me, over the road, and I don't mean necessarily truck driving, whatever vehicle it is. I don't care if it's selling weed, selling pussy, being a blackjack player, fucking, playing stocks and bonds, whatever the opportunity is, you have got to reach a point where the scales tip and you create freedom for yourself, right? Because, financial freedom is freedom, man, because in the world, in the society we live in, money is fucking power. It gives you opportunity, it gives you options, it gives you just the ability to really make your own way in life and make your own decisions. If you want to spend time with the kids, cool. If you want to take them to get a fucking Happy Meal, cool. If you want to send them in private school, cool. If you want to start a second family, cool. Whatever the fuck it is that you want to do, you need money to fucking do it. And if you're busy chasing money, punching someone else's time clock, it's never gonna fucking happen. Until you can make the money punch the time clock for you, well, I mean, you just gotta accept the fucking reality of your life, and that's what I was talking about living in someone else's house, about a fucking 30-year mortgage, about playing before you pay, right? It gives us these warm, satisfying feelings. I have this, I'm okay now. You know, the roof's here. The kids are clothed. You know, we got a couple, days groceries in the fucking cabinets. No, that's all a fucking illusion to help you cope with today and get you up to go to work tomorrow, because in a moment's notice, it can all fucking disappear. And I don't care how strong your relationship and how much your wife likes you and how much your kids love you. If they're fucking homeless and they're fucking starving, there won't be any relationship to fucking have. And the only motivation that they'll have to get up in the morning is to go fucking on the corner or to the fucking church and get a gift card to go get a bag of fucking grits, because they're gonna be fucking starving, having pains in their belly. Okay, and the marriage ain't gonna last much longer after that.
Why is it gotta come down to grits?
Fucking live with you?
Why is it gotta come down to grits?
Because or cream of wheat. I'm sorry, I forgot the part of the country you're in.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
So that's what I'm saying. How long is the wife gonna stand by you if you're fucking homeless? It's not gonna fucking happen.
Unless you got that fucking good dick.
No, she can go get somebody with some bad dick with a house.
Yeah, but how long is that gonna last? Then you're going between good dick and bad dick, jumping back and forth between like I do in jobs.
No, because that nigga eat pussy like a motherfucker.
I wonder how many guys actually eat pussy.
Yeah,
Like they brag about eating ass, and then when it comes down to it, they're not up to task.
Yeah, I don't know about it. I talk about it all the time at work. Like I told him, man, how
Eating
my
ass?
wife pissed me. I told him, no, the coochie. I told him my wife pissed me off. Instead of yelling at her, I sat on my face. Damn. It was a tongue
Damn.
lashing, just a different version.
Wow. Did you fucking? I felt like you used that sometime in the week.
Yeah, I did. Nigga, I told everybody at work. Niggas was talking about how they was miserable with their wife. I said, nigga, what you doing? Why you fucking around?
See, you're lucky because you got them young guys. I don't think any of the guys I work with can get hard anymore.
No, we got an old nigga at work or whatever. He tries to tell me he ain't that old, but I think that nigga's prehistoric as fuck. I asked that nigga, was Abraham Lincoln really a tall man? You know what I'm saying? But, it is what it is. If I got old nigga, I'd figure out a way to hook an air pump up to my meat. You know what I'm saying? Nigga just like cut a fucking air fitting in that bitch and plug it in.
Yeah, I think the oldest guy there, his employee number is like 2.
2?
Yeah.
Damn.
Like he was there when fucking Halliburton fucking figured out how to cap an oil rig.
That's crazy as fuck, nigga.
Well, between all that, I'm gonna start buying scratch offs too.
Nigga, I bought $100 scratch off or $100 in scratch offs yesterday. I wanted to do something special for myself, and so I bought a scratch off.
So you bought scratch offs?
Yeah.
There was a guy when I used to live in San Diego that would stand outside, you know those fucking self-serve scratch off machines?
Yeah.
And he would sit there and just fucking pump money into that thing.
Yeah.
And like he would even out and then lose a little bit, get a little bit ahead, even out for hours.
Yeah.
He was right next to the red box too. I go in there and read a movie and I'm like, hey Bill, he's like, hey. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, see if I can pay the rent today.
Yeah.
I bet that guy's happy. He had a big ass mustache too.
That's the world we live in right there, man. People are hoping by chance for something awesome to happen instead of really making the opportunity happen, because nobody really wants to do it, right? And that's what it boils down to. People don't really want to do what's needed to change the situation. And Sean, whether that means going over the road or that means sleeping in a different place.
No, I
or
will not go over the road.
I know exactly what you're saying, right? You're willing to do anything but, right? And it's the buts that always stop us from actually achieving. You know what I'm saying? I'm willing to do.
Nobody will achieve over the road.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily saying in a truck. I'm not even necessarily talking about truck, but in your story, in your mind, that means a truck. To me, that means, being in a legal state, sleeping on somebody's couch until the first crop comes in a fucking grow container. To me, it means fucking, getting out there and taking 5 pounds instead of liquidating them, for X number of dollars. That means me ouncing them out while I'm waiting on the second grow that's twice the size to come in, to keep myself alive, to keep myself eating, to keep gas in the vehicle until the second crop comes in, and doing the same thing till the third one comes in that's 3 times as big as the original grow. You know what I'm saying? And then 18 months later, a nigga being like, fuck that trap house. Nigga, I just bought 3 houses. You know what I'm saying? Fuck that motherfucking them 3 houses. Nigga, I just bought 100 acres in Belize. You know what I'm saying? 5 years later, nigga owns a fucking old castle in Scotland. You know what I'm saying? That's when, to me, that's what over the road means, right? But I'm not in a position, I don't have $8,000 to buy a goddamn fucking trap house. You know what I'm saying? I need fucking $8,000, and then I need to put a roof, whatever. So it's like, no matter what, I've got to count pennies I've got to. I can either go to the bar. I can go to the fucking. I can go to the amusement park with the kids. I can do all kinds of shit right now and live in the fucking moment. Or I can pinch my pennies for another year or so, and build on the foundation that I'm already creating. To hopefully, and just like the name of our this episode, failure is always an option. I'm not scared of fucking failing. Failing don't make a fuck to me, right? What's scary to me is never fucking trying. You know what I'm saying? Waking up at 62 years old and being like, well, in 2019 I had opportunity through some, networking contacts that I had to change generations of my family financially and morally. But because I wanted to stay comfortable in the trailer that I was in because I felt safe today, I let it all pass me by. Now here I am fucking begging for a church to pay for my goddamn pills.
Or a bag of grits.
Bag of fucking grits, nigga.
I thought they came in a box.
I mean, if like some stores they'll sell little boxes or whatever, but like we usually buy it by like the 5-pound bag.
Seriously?
Yeah.
If it makes you feel any better, I'm about to take that family out. We're gonna go get some fucking trash bags, and at the same time, I gotta fucking do some dirt.
Why are y'all moving?
No, the guy didn't come into town, so I'm gonna have to kill two birds with one stone.
Oh, okay. I didn't know when you said trash bags, because that's usually how we move.
You mean luggage?
Yeah, nigga, luggage, nigga.
Jesus Christ.
Luggage like a motherfucker.
See, that's why I want you to succeed more
Nigga,
than
I
me,
come
because
from
the
fucking
fucking
white trash, nigga. I come from white trash, nigga. Like, straight up. Like, my dad was a good man, but he settled out. I mean, the truth is, niggas that roaches could have picked up and carried our fucking house off. You know what I mean? I had no name fucking shoes. I mean, we always had food. And I'm grateful for the morals, but my dad taught me how to be a poor man. He taught me how to live today, how to pay my fucking bill. But he never taught me, I guess he instilled in me the virtue of not being afraid to achieve more. You know what I'm saying? I'm not afraid to go out here and do what I need to do to get it. And for that, I'm eternally grateful. But, I come from absolute fucking poverty. There's a zero white privilege in my fucking story. So, that's where I take offense to a lot of this shit. Because, again, it goes back to other people's perception because people are always looking across someone else's fence, never realizing their story or what they may have been or where they went or what it took for them to fucking achieve. You know what I'm saying? So for anybody else, that's looking in and they want to point fingers and talk shit because I'm arrogant, because I run my motherfucking mouth, because I pay and feed myself, you know what I'm saying? Fuck you. Suck a dick. You eat a motherfucking bullet, okay? Be thankful that a motherfucker like me is paying some tax money so that you can get your fucking $700 check and buy your shit from Rent-A-Center. You know what I mean? And that is extremely personal because there's people in my wife's family that talk and run their motherfucking mouth for a goddamn week. But I ain't asking nobody for nothing in this motherfucking world unless it's to make a motherfucking deal so we can both eat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I don't like to ask for money. I ask for an opportunity.
Let's eat. You know what I'm saying, nigga? You know what I'm saying? Let's eat, nigga. If you want to put some money up, I'll put some money up, nigga. If you want to do the things that need it, we can prosper. Because a collective is always stronger than a single. So, but everybody's got to be on the same page, man. And that's what it boils down to. People rather stand on top of the pyramid rather than build a fucking house. You know what I'm saying? And it's cool. Like, I want to be on the top of some shit, but the top's lonely. Like, I've had money, but I pissed it away. But it's lonely. Like, you need some motherfuckers standing there with you. Otherwise, there's nothing to do if you're constantly looking down on people. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody going to be able to sit at the table and have a conversation with you. So that's the same thing as being homeless on the fucking street because people are looking down on you. You know what I'm saying? You're not part of anybody's social group. You've got to be able to break bread with somebody.
I want to do more than eat, though.
You want to what?
I want to do more than eat.
Yeah, I know, but that's an urban term. What I mean by eating, nigga, is let's bankroll this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like if me and you were having a conversation right now, and in summer we can go to Salinas and get a fucking burrito, and then we can follow up in New Mexico with the contact that we had while we're trying to close a multi-million-dollar deal. That's what I mean when a nigga.
Did you say Salinas?
Salinas.
Salinas? Like in the
California.
fucking Me and Bobby McGee song?
Like in California, nigga.
Jesus Christ. You ever been to Salinas?
Yeah, a bunch.
It's not a nice place.
No, but they got a good burrito place there.
They got a good burrito place in El Cajon.
But that's what I'm saying. We could be talking, and I could be telling you about the burrito in Salinas, and you could be telling me about the burrito there, and we could be like, fuck it, nigga, let's go eat both of them. You know what I'm saying? And not even worry about the fucking light bill, nigga. Not worry about the family. Fuck them. You know, tell them to go to the store. Go down there and look at this other house that has the swimming pool you was talking about. Or fuck it, let's go on and move back to Florida real quick and buy the whole fucking county. You know what I'm saying? Let's go on and put all these old dick sucking goddamn fucking good old boys that are corrupt and sent young men to fucking prison. Let's hire a private investigator and investigate them and take their whole fucking life away. You know what I'm saying? Let's put them in the same prison that they falsely corruptedly fucking convicted young men and broke their families up. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. That kind of money. That's what I say when I say let's eat.
Well, the way to do that is like you got to aspire to be a lawyer because lawyers become judges and judges control the courts.
No, I want to own the judge. I want to own the judge. I don't want to be the judge.
Well, that's the corruption.
Yeah,
A
that's
judge
the
should
world
be
that we live in.
impartial with his duty to the state.
He's not going to be impartial.
He's not going to be impartial, and that fucking cunt up here showed me that when I got that ticket. She blamed it on the legislature. No, it's her job to be the mediator between the people and the state. It's her job to use common sense and to apply the law as applicable in the situation and circumstance presented.
What ticket did you get?
Failure to control. I hit the ice patch.
Oh. How the fuck did they blame that on the legislature?
Yeah, that's what she told me. If I could take it up with the legislature, and like I told her, I said once upon a time in this country it was legal to hang black people. It didn't make it fucking right, did it?
I mean, at the time it did.
You know. So, anyways, it is what it is. But it's by that time, so you can take your kids to go get luggage and do dirt and thank our sponsors.
Yeah, thanks to Mid City OG, Landbirds, Clorox Wipes. Shout out to Rent-A-Center.
Rent-A-Center like a motherfucker.
Hulk Hogan fucking reps for Rent-A-Center nowadays.
I bet he does.
Yeah, he's Hogan at
I don't know
Rent-A-Center,
why
brother.
these people, I don't know why these fucking major corporations think that has been fucking, famous people inspire people to go buy shit, okay? Because a has-been football player on halftime is telling me what Kia to buy does not make me want to buy a Kia. Hulk Hogan does not make me want to rent. Anybody who goes to Rent-A-Center is not thinking about who told them about Rent-A-Center. They're thinking about the fact they have to go to Rent-A-Center.
I think they're just excited they're going to be able to get something out of Rent-A-Center.
Yeah. I've went to Rent-A-Center, and you know what the most
Macho
embarrassing
Man
part
would
of
make
that
me
was?
want. Macho Man made me want to eat a Slim Jim.
I'm saying I don't know. That's different. I think that because it matched the bands on his arm, they're really there to shoot heroin. But the most embarrassing part of Rent-A-Center was the fact that they wanted to call people to confirm that they knew me.
Really?
Yeah.
They had to get a reference?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. What does this world come to?
Yeah. And then then you drive around and what the worst is when you see them pulling up repossessing shit from people's houses. I've never had anything repossessed by them. God willing, I'll never do business with them ever again. Haven't done them in many years. But when you know shit's bad when Rent-A-Center pull up and repo a washer or a couch, nigga. If Rent-A-Center repos a couch from you, nigga, you in a bind.
Or they pull up and pull your clothes out of the washer and take it away.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Like, at least wait till the cycle's done.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to them because they're not a sponsor, but they could be. Shout out to Weed Maps.
Weed Maps.
Fucking shout out to Emmett County judicial system because you're not doing your fucking jobs. On a personal note.
Shout out to corrupt judges.
Shout out to corrupt judges, which I think exists everywhere. So a lot of informative stuff. Check the links in the bios. And if you ever find yourself in that unemployment line and you're sick of it and you start pushing people around and they're trying to drag you out of there, never go quietly. Peace.